Oh boy, is it starting to feel like 2021 a little bit again? PSA is announcing slowdowns and they are raising their prices. What does this mean for the sports card hobby? We'll debate now. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another episode of Cards on the Table. Teapot and Doug, our first episode back from the national championship game, baby. Can I get a Go Gators? Can I get a little Go Gators over here? Them Gator boys are hot. Them Gator boys stayed hot.
You done yet?
All right, I'll be done for the moment.
I got nothing.
I'm not actually going to be done for about the next 5 years.
I got nothing.
All right, but we got business to
I
take
was
care
never
of.
this obnoxious when the Chiefs won.
He wore
Ever.
his clown outfit. We wore black to be in mourning.
You are indeed in mourning, Doug, and I love every second of that. All right, we got to talk about sports cards. I will keep us on track today. We got to talk about what is going on with PSA. So grading in general, there have been these reports over the last couple of months that all of the grading companies seem to be slow. And I personally experienced this. I sent in a submission to PSA. I sent it to them at the beginning of March. And it took close to 4 weeks for them to even check the submission into their system. They acknowledged that they got the package, but it wasn't checked into the PSA app where I could start. It didn't tell me that it had entered that research and ID phase or anything of that nature, right? It took close to 4 weeks. And that was similar to what I was hearing from a lot of other collectors, that, man, all of the grading companies, not just PSA, but all of the grading companies seem to be getting really slow. So you kind of wondered, are any of these grading companies going to start officially changing policies and announcing slowdowns or announcing price increases? We did have Peter from SGC, who a couple of weeks ago acknowledged that SGC is running behind their stated timelines. But then the real hammer, the one that affects the widest swath of collectors, dropped earlier this week when PSA announced that they were extending the turnaround time on all value bulk, TCG bulk, and value plus bulk dual service submissions. They were also seeing slowdowns in packages even getting processed to even get into the system even before the new turnaround times start to count. And they increased the price of the TCG bulk submission process as well. So specifically, the value bulk and TCG bulk are now all extended out to 65 business days when you count that time plus the time that it takes them to even intake your packages. Collectors can expect to be waiting about 4 months to get their grading submissions back from the time they send them in. And if you're submitting for TCG bulk, you are now paying $18.99. That is a couple dollar price hike from what it was before. Now, PSA says they're going to try to combat this. They are actively hiring new staff. They're implementing new technology, and they remain committed to offering faster turnaround time in the future while maintaining their grading standards. But Teapot and Doug, this all feels a little familiar, doesn't it? What was your take when you heard this news, Teapot, and what does this mean for collectors?
My take was your exact opening line, which I didn't know you were going to say, which is it's really starting to feel like 2021 all over again in a lot of ways. We thankfully don't have any kind of a pandemic going around right now, but we have tariffs and market crashes and volatility and uncertainty in that space. We've got insane fever around Pokemon cards like we had with sports cards back then. And we've got slowdowns and threats of supply shortages and all kinds of things. It's honestly a bit too much Groundhog Day for my liking. It's too much too soon. We just came out of the other end of this. We just saw the sports card market and the SCI 500 index start to healthily trickle back up in the right direction. And this really, honestly, I don't really fault PSA here. I'll say that much. I know a lot of people like to just rip on PSA and hate on them for anything and everything and hate on grading. But this is a symptom of like too much success and a symptom of their critical importance to the hobby ecosystem and to the card life cycle. They are a vital part of all of that at this point with sports cards. So I would just say, to keep doing what they're doing, keep hiring, keep scaling, and what more can they do? I don't see any other thing. And I was just trying to look. I had a submission that I sent in late February that just actually got moved into stage 4 grading. So I think I'm at about 6 weeks on that right now, but obviously I think the backlog has really heated up over that last month, and they've started to see those slowdowns. But
Yeah, that doesn't sound horrible.
Yeah.
But I think for people that are submitting today, those wait periods are going to be longer. I think they've gotten more and more submissions. Yeah, I don't know what they do, except if they wanted to like throttle the intake. Remember that system HGA used to use back in the day when they first started, where like
Tag as well.
Was Tag doing that as well, where they would only take a certain number of submissions a day, and you had to like get on the website and get in line and get your submission. I mean, they could do that, but I don't think they want to do that.
they have too many bulk submitters too. Like, how do you figure all that out?
That would be really hard for PSA to do. Doug, can anything be done here, and what are your thoughts about all of this?
I don't think really a lot can be done, at least quickly. I mean, Jeff took your sentence and you took mine.
Yeah.
They're a victim of their own success in this case, right? But it's not just them in this case. It's all grading companies are kind of experiencing this. Grading is super popular right now. We talk a lot about the junk slab era, and we're firmly implanted in that, right? Like, grading is as popular as it's ever been. My biggest problem with this is the turnaround time that they posted of being 65 days, but that countdown doesn't even start until it hits the order prep version of the process. So a month has already passed before you even hit that.
It is.
I would like to see more transparency there. To say it's 65 days when it's really 4 months because we're not going to start counting until this other step happens. I don't love that. I feel like why even create that sort of customer service nightmare for yourself? Because it's inevitable. People are going to think 65 days, I can get this before the National. No, you can't. You know what I mean? Like, why are we doing that?
And by the way, it's 65 business
days, of course,
which I also don't like that. I don't like customers that measure in business days, because that confuses you a little bit. It's like, well, wait a minute, how many business days are there? Are there holidays I need to account for? I'd rather them say 90 days, instead of 65 business days, or add in that time you talked about. Know that that's going to take 3 or 4 weeks. Just say 120 days or 110 days. That would be a little more clear.
I would like to think this creates a little more competition. I mean, these other companies still aren't taking that long, from what I understand. So I'd like to think people will try these other companies out, give them a shot, because we do need a little bit more balance within that market and not focus all in on one company. But then again, if people wanted to do that, they would already be doing it, and PSA wouldn't be in the problem they're in right now. They raised their prices, and that's one of the only things you can do. I know that probably looks like a bad move to a lot of people, but that's really the only thing you can kind of do to maybe slow people down is raise your prices. Put that kind of sort of artificial limit on people by making it a little bit more prohibitive price-wise. It's not fun to pay more money for it, but it might slow people down a little bit, enough for them to catch up while they're training new employees and so on.
And they did do that price raise only on their TCG bulk.
Right.
And that shows you where the submissions are coming from. You know, we did a video a couple of weeks ago where we talked about PSA seeing record submission volumes, but the record submission volumes were being driven by the TCG side. You know, TCG has seen this huge increase in submissions, largely driven by Pokemon over the past several months. Sports has been somewhat stagnant, actually down a little bit from this point last year. If you look at, I think, the February numbers, while TCG was up significantly from last year. So the overall mass of cards is up significantly, and that's what's driving all of this, but a little more on the TCG side.
It seems like bad timing to roll out the whole eBay to PSA thing right now.
Yeah.
If they know they're behind and they know they're struggling with that, why roll out just a new avenue of people to start grading cards? I wonder how much GameStop plays into this as well, if maybe that was busier than they anticipated.
I believe so.
You know?
Yeah, because you're seeing that on the TCG side, and,
Right.
that partnership brought a lot of that. It's interesting. PSA continues to remain dominant. They continue to remain number one. They don't seem to give up any market share, even when they experience this. I agree with you, Doug. Like, you might think this would be the opportunity for SGC or for Beckett or for some other competitor, CGC, to rise up here. Do I think that's going to happen? No.
Not if they're
I
also
don't.
facing delays.
I don't.
If
Yeah.
you're someone who gets into new releases, it's really important to be first to market with your raw cards or your graded cards. So it might, if PSA was taking 4 months and SGC was taking 2 weeks, that wouldn't be enough reason to go with a different company, just to be quick. But if they're also experiencing delays, then there's really no reason to go with anybody else.
I hope PSA continues to hire. I hope they continue to scale up and continue to staff. I know when Ryan, the president of PSA, was here about a year ago, he said that his ultimate goal is to have every single submission level, including the bulk levels, be 30 days or less. I would love to see them hit that goal. It seems like they're a long way away from that right now. So hopefully in the future, that is what we will see. On to better news, gentlemen. We've got some Arena Club slab packs to rip. Who are we going to start with? Let's start with Doug's today.
Okay.
Doug, you did an Emerald basketball
I did
pack?
basketball, yeah.
Okay. And while this is coming up, I want to remind the audience, these slab... Oh, here it is right here.
Oh, Steph.
You got a Steph
Monopoly.
Steph Monopoly.
Is that a prank? Because I went off on Monopoly last
You
week.
did go off on money, but that's not a bad card.
No, it's
It
a
is-
white sparkle.
It is the
That's
a
white,
white
sparkle
sparkle
and a
10.
10.
White Sparkle
PSA
PSA 10, but I feel like it's a
Yeah.
prank because I was hard on Monopoly.
You were hard on
last week.
Monopoly. Because
hard.
last week we were
Yeah.
talking about Luca's first cards being in Monopoly.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I don't know. That's
All
not,
right.
I mean, maybe I'll trade you for that one, Doug.
Ooh, there you go.
Steph Curry, white sparkle,
Okay.
Monopoly.
I like
or
the
not.
sound of that, yeah.
All right. What did
right.
you get here, Teapot?
I had a football emerald.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
see what you got here.
Let's go.
All right. So this is a
go.
nice Emerald pack for football. It's coming
go.
up right.
Oh, bang!
Oh, okay.
My goodness.
My kids will love that.
Okay, so this is
Stafford.
set up.
and it's an emerald.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
an emerald from an emerald pack.
Fitting.
Emerald.
Yeah.
Look at
Yep.
that. Detroit Lions super fan over here.
I will take any.
I mean,
These are
Lions
feeling
jersey,
These are
Matthew
feeling
Stafford.
oddly curated right now. We're gonna see what.
that's
Yeah.
true. I
Yeah.
got a ruby
Yeah.
football. So this
Yeah.
is one of the. This is a
Here's
little
an
bit of
Aaron
a less
Hernandez.
expensive pack here.
if this is Will
if I get
Greer,
a
I'll
Tim
know.
Tebow, we know this is not real.
Who's that? Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray,
Gold.
20,
I think it's
22
football.
flux.
Gold
Ooh.
Equinox.
Ooh. All right.
9.
Rookie gold autograph.
All right.
I'll take that.
Hey.
That's not bad at all. That is not bad at all.
We got the precious metals covered too.
Yeah.
We had the gold, the
We do.
emerald, and the sparkles.
We do. And by the way, these slab packs are now available on Arena Club's app and website 24/7. So whenever you want to rip one of these, including right this second, you can download the Arena Club app. But don't forget to use promo code SCI20 because that is going to give you 20% off your first purchase of any of those slab packs on Arena Club's website or app. And also, the cards that we pulled, they're featured in our showrooms on Arena Club's homepage.
Yep.
So feel free to check those out. And
Send us a trade.
Except
Make
for
us a
me, I've been
little
doing
offer.
trades.
There
So
you
the
go.
cards you see me pull might not be there anymore. I've traded them.
There we go. Doug's active.
Yeah.
Check out Arena Club, guys. Okay, let's get to this next topic. This one drew some reaction from the sports card hobby. Jackson Merrill, right? The great baseball player, great young star. Won Rookie of the Year last year, right? Was he our official Rookie of the Year last year? I know it was him right at the
No,
end
it
of the
was
year.
Skeens.
Skeens won, but that's right.
Merrill
Skeens
was
won.
2.
Merrill was second,
Yeah.
and there were people like with a month or two left in the season that were saying maybe Merrill should get it over Skeens, but then Skeens, Skeens closed out strong. That's right. But nonetheless, a lot of people super excited about Merrill and his future career prospects. A lot of collectors, obviously, of his autograph cards, and a lot of people that are concerned that his autograph changed not too long ago, because if you can find, we'll put a couple of examples up on the screen here, you can find earlier signed Jackson Merrill autograph cards where it seems like he took a nice amount of time, signing his entire name, and then all of a sudden, at some point, it switched to just a scribble. Just a little quick, took no more than half a second scribble for his autograph, and those are the cards that we're seeing from Jackson Merrill now. Now, what's interesting, why this is newsworthy at the moment, is because The Athletic interviewed him and actually asked him about his autograph on trading cards. And here's what he said. I'm going to read this verbatim.
Oh, you're getting fired up already.
It's not that I don't care about cards and stuff. It's just like, that's not my thing, you know? Okay, first of all, are those not the two most
That doesn't make any sense.
contradictory sentences that you could put back to back? Isn't that like, it's not like that I don't care,
But I don't.
but
care.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
What? Like, pick a lane here, buddy. Whatever. So we got that. And then he admitted to saying that during large signing sessions, such as when he has to sign 3,000 cards for a time for Topps, he prefers a quick, minimal autograph like a simple J. But he will save his more complete signatures for special cards like one-of-ones or on days that he is, quote, feeling nice.
Oh.
Teapot.
60% of the time, his auto doesn't work every time. That's what I would say.
Thoughts on Jackson Merrill's comments?
Yeah, you know what? That little Stephen A is back on my shoulder here, chirping, Jeff. And
You gonna fight LeBron?
yeah, you know what, Jackson Merrill? You're not my thing. How about that, Jackson Merrill? That's what I want to say. How about that? How's that feel? Look, this man just signed a $135 million contract.
It's a good amount of money.
And he can't be bothered. By the way, he gets paid for autographs too. Gets paid by Topps for autographs. And he can't put any effort into it because, it's not my thing, I don't think so. Without the fans, you don't have a contract. And without the collectors, you don't have fans. We're all part of an ecosystem. We are all people who invest into these sports, and he doesn't give a rat's you-know-what. It's frustrating. It's disrespectful, as Stephen A. would say. So I think he owes the game. I think he owes the hobby more than a squiggle. He needs to put some more effort into it. We see inscriptions when people actually care about things. Now he's just Jay and whatever. He needs to go spend some time with Bobby Witt Jr. and Mike Trout and learn how to grow up and appreciate the hobby, which wants to appreciate him. And by the way, Jackson Churio is much better than you are.
Ooh.
How about that? How about that? How about that?
Coming in hot.
Whoa.
Wow. Doug,
Had enough of this crap.
you agree?
No.
You agree? No.
I stand with Jackson Merrill.
Oh, wow.
Gosh.
I totally get it.
Wow.
I totally get it. You give me a stack of 50
Wow.
cards to sign, you'll get 50 nice-looking signatures from me. One of one, a short print, whatever, case it, you'll get a nice signature from me. But if you give me a stack of 3,000 or 5,000 cards or a giant book full of stickers, you're getting an initial, and that's all you're getting out of me. That's the most monotonous, mundane, terrible experience to have to go through and just sign. The guy's a baseball player. He's not a writer. Give him a break on that. I mean, if he has a very specific contract that says you have to give us nice autographs X amount per year, then you took on that responsibility and you need to own it. But if he doesn't have that stipulation, then you're going to get what you're going to get. I don't have a problem with it.
I know somebody who was just frustrated about some auto stuff and a different auto and DM'd or tagged Fanatics, and Mahan responded on Instagram to him and said, we're aware of this and we're going to keep working to make it better. So hopefully Mike is able to reach junior Merrill here and little Merrill, and
Topps could not have liked those comments to
No.
go out.
No.
That's not
No.
great. That's
No.
not great.
No.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
No.
You know who's got nice autographs. Hold on, gentlemen. Look at this.
What is that garbage?
Is that Aaron Hernandez?
Walter Clayton Jr.
That just looks like a W and a...
Walter Clayton Jr.
You didn't know which one was
Yes.
Walter.
Right there. Will Richard. Elijah Martin.
All of them are gone,
Champions.
right? All three gone, right?
Champions.
We don't have to put up with them anymore?
Champions. It's my one-on-one jacket here.
It's already faded from
By
his
the way,
celebratory
it's
body
also
sweat.
it's also kind of covered in beer, and
Yeah.
I'm surprised you guys haven't run out of the room. It kind of smells a little bit
Yeah.
at this point.
Well, I'm
in
used to
time. I
that
did-
next to Doug, but
Well, okay,
Hey-o.
maybe Doug's covering it up a little bit. Okay, let's talk autographs of a different sport. Travis Hunter and Sheuder Sanders. I was not very happy to see this news. I was very surprised to see this news. We know that Fanatics and Topps are getting the license to create football cards starting early next year. Is when I think it's April of next year when that takes place. So it's not going to be long until they're creating cards of this year's rookie class. I'm sure they'll have a bunch of them queued up to go out next April. Next year, by the way, this next NFL season, we'll probably get a run of Panini cards and then also a run of Topps cards, all fully licensed, just coming out at different times. Well, the Panini ones are going to have Travis Hunter and Sheuder Sanders autographs, and the top ones are not. Because Panini just did to Topps what Topps has been doing to Panini, which was lock these guys up into exclusive trading card autograph deals so they can't sign for the others. So you're going to have Travis Hunter and Sheuder Sanders in this fall's football products. Then when it goes to Topps, they will not be signing in those products. Now, we don't know the details of these agreements. We don't know how long it is for. So who knows if at some point in the future that will switch. But for the moment, both Hunter and Sanders have signed exclusively with Panini. I was a little bit surprised to see this, but with the NFL draft just around the corner, and we're talking about two guys here are top 10, both of them are top 10 picks. Doug, what do you make of this news?
I mean, I hate it. I don't know what I can say that I haven't already said on this topic. It's exclusivities suck in all formats, not just when it comes to a specific athlete's autograph, but in licensing and everything else. It's going to be the collectors and the consumers that get hurt by this at the end of it, Now, there's always a chance maybe Travis doesn't pan out or Sheuder doesn't pan out, and this particular instance isn't a big deal. But it's going to be in the future because Panini is not going to stop trying to do this, even though I think it's part of their lawsuit against Fanatics. that they've done that?
Yeah,
make that make sense. Yeah, make that make sense. We're going to sue you for doing this, but also do this. I think that might hurt their case a little bit. I don't know. I'm not a legal expert, but that sounds
a little weird.
Yeah.
Sounds a little weird.
Yeah, so, again, you can argue that these guys, might not be the biggest chases, so maybe who cares about that specifically. But what if we hit a scenario, where we never get an autographed rookie card from the big chases going forward because Panini just keeps throwing money at them and they keep going that direction, but it's the licenses are with Topps going forward. I mean, that could have long-term implications on how we collect or how we value cards if we don't have licensed rookie autos of the biggest chases going forward.
Yeah, I'm with you. You agree, Teapot?
Yeah, I'm pretty much with all of that. Like, I've had it in my head all along that once the licenses shift to Topps, all of this would stop. Yeah. All of this, like getting autos over here with no jersey licensing and getting the jersey license over here with no autos would stop. I don't know why it never dawned on me that Panini would just keep trying to do it in the other direction now that we're, a year out, less than that from the handover. And so it's frustrating. I'd like to see a ceasefire. Let's just strike a deal, knock it off,
please.
Stop it, please. Let's just be, grown-ups and stop fighting with each other, and that's what I would like to see. I think Hunter does have a chance to be a pretty special player in the NFL. Sheuder is going to have to learn how to make reads faster and get rid of the ball faster. It's not going to go well, but he's got a lot of talent, athletic talent, and pedigree, so it stinks. I don't like it.
It stinks. I totally agree. It stinks, and I don't like it either direction. I didn't like when Topps was locking up all of the people and keeping them away from Panini, and now I don't like that Panini's locking up people and keeping away from Topps. I don't like the exclusive nature of these autograph deals. It makes all the products, it waters them all down. It makes them, unfortunately, nowhere near as collectible. Okay, let's end on a happier note today. I want to talk about Alexander Ovechkin, his goal record, and what Upper Deck did to celebrate him. So we have this new Great Moments trading card set, which Upper Deck put out. This is, maybe similar to kind of a Topps Now commemorative type set like what they did with Shohei Ohtani when he hit 50-50. This is Upper Deck's version of it. It is highlighting moments from Alexander Ovechkin's career. This is, by the way, available on their ePack platform. They also have, of course, chase cards in there. They got autograph cards in there. And they also have pieces of ceremonial carpet used at the celebration to include as relics. Now, I was going to say, how dare Topps to allow Upper Deck to have this Alexander Ovechkin set, but not come out with a commemorative Bowman U Now set celebrating the Florida Gators victory. But thankfully, Topps came to their senses and they have now released a Bowman U Now card of the Gators victory, which is great because they screwed us by not putting any Gator player in Bowman U Chrome this year. There is no Walter Clayton Jr. card. There is no Elijah Martin card. There is no Will Richard card. There is none of the guys. You don't have Condon. How do you not have Condon in there? How do you not have Thomas Howe in there, Doug? Can we get Chinyulu in there, please? Can we get?
I bet he can.
Can we get Micah in there, please? Oh, I can keep going. We can even get Urban off the bench in there.
What's Micah's last name?
Period.
What's Micah's last name?
Micah Hengelsladen.
Can we get a team trainer Topps Now card?
He should say it's German. Hengelsladen.
Hengelsladen? Yeah.
How about Aberdeen? Get Aberdeen in the damn set.
Yeah.
Okay, but thankfully we do have the Bowman U Now card, so that world is right. So we'll talk about Alexander Ovechkin. Teapot, cool set. You excited? You buying? What does this mean to you?
I'm probably not buying. I just not the biggest hockey collector. I like hockey. I don't have a lot to say about it other than just that I thought this record was sort of unbreakable.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you. Gretzky's points record is unbreakable. That will literally never be broken. But the goals thing, they talked to Ovi like 2014 and asked him in an interview, do you have that? Is that a goal for you? Do you see that as a possibility? And he said, absolutely not. It's impossible. He said it like 3 times. It's impossible. It couldn't be done. I'd have to score like 50 goals for the next 10 years. I don't even know if I'll still be playing. Here we are. So this is a truly momentous thing. Like truly, I mean, kind of on par with somebody like breaking Jerry Rice records. Like that's how it's just, there's certain things you think, oh, this is just never going to happen. And here we are. So it was cool to see Gretzky there. On the Bowman U piece, I do have some things to say, and I've given this a lot of thought just since they started rolling the product out a few years ago until now. I think Topps has a very real opportunity to turn Bowman U Chrome into a really important product for basketball and football. Really important. And In order to do that, they have got to find a way to get the top players in the nation into the checklist. Michigan State has 3 players, and Trey Holloman and Jace Richardson aren't on that checklist. So you got to get the guys that are, top talent in the country. You must get the players in the NBA who are going to be first round or at least lottery draft picks into that checklist so that you can start to establish some recurring pedigree of the product year over year. If they can do that, they have a chance to do what has happened in baseball and use that history of the Bowman first to say, it's the only first. In a world where we have 1,000 rookie cards, this is the Bowman first. Go chase it. It lets you get in on the game and the action earlier with these athletes and start speculating on them and building your fandom. It's really important. So I think they have a massive opportunity. They need to put some more energy into getting all the top players locked up into the product, and ideally with autos if Panini's not poaching them away from them.
It is criminal that I don't have a Walter Clayton Jr. Do you know how many bounties? Do you know how many bounty videos I would have put out over the next month for every single one of those players that I just mentioned?
Yeah. It doesn't feel good when you're really excited about getting something and then you don't get it.
I honestly was disappointed. I really was, actually. I was disappointed in Topps. Doug, what do you make of this? What do you make of the Ovechkin set, and what do you make about the Bowman U Now stuff?
Let me start with the Bowman U thing. My biggest question is how long it takes a product to go from the conceptualization of it to being in consumers' hands, because the nature of college basketball is rosters aren't even finalized until close to the season beginning. Let's call it arbitrary. Let's say it's September before they can confidently move forward with the roster. Then you need to have that out before March Madness begins. So you have, a 6-month time frame, 7th-month time frame to start the product and finish the product and have it distributed. Is that enough time? I have no clue. I don't know how long it takes. But you don't know what rosters are going to look like, and I think that's their biggest challenge. That we're in the transfer portal era where players are moving around. I think something like 1,500 players have entered the transfer portal in college basketball this offseason. You've got to wait till the dust settles on that. And then recruiting classes from high school can move around a lot. Coaches get fired or, go take another job. Then players move around. There's all kinds of moving pieces where they can't start planning a product until later in the year. Yeah. And I think the product suffered because of that. But there's no doubt that the product's suffering and it needs to be better. But I just don't know, that time frame, if that's something they can really execute on in just 6 months, let's say. Yeah. As far as the upper deck thing with Ovi, I think it was a really good move by them. I think they've taken sort of the Topps Now approach and the commemorative set, like Ohtani's 50-50, but I think they've executed it a little bit better. Because it's an e-pack and it's immediately available. You don't have to wait for them to print the cards and then mail them out. Or the Shohei 50-50 box came out 5 months after it was put on sale or whatever the case was. They're immediately available via e-pack, so you can rip and see the cards. And then you can trade or sell peer-to-peer within their system. And it's easy to get those cards, physically in hand as well. But they did a good job of, making the parallels available. But they've also done something unique in adding achievements to this. So you can build sets. If you collect all of the base cards from that, there's an achievement where you get an extra reward. If you collect the parallel of the rainbow of the different parallels, there's an achievement that comes with that. And then if you get all 8 of the parallels of the autograph, the achievement is you'll get a dual autograph of Gretzky and Ovechkin.
That's insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that stuff's awesome.
I will say it would be nice if they took one of those dual autos, a Gretzky Ovechkin, and made it a random insert to somebody's pack, so it wasn't just something you had to buy your way into, spend a ton of money to get all these autographs. I wish it was something you could buy a pack and be able to get one so it's accessible to basically everyone. Yeah. But if you've got the funds, you can collect all of 8 of those parallel autographs. You can get this pretty crazy dual auto, and that's cool.
I have one last thought on the Bowman U piece, just in terms of, because you bring up some good points, like the lead time and just making sure you get all these. Sometimes guys bust onto the scene and, who was that guy for Oakland, Gerke or Goki or?
Why? Why are you even doing that?
I just
don't do that. It's Jack Goki.
Jack Goki.
Jack Goki. I hope he's
he's playing in the G League.
I hope he's flipping burgers somewhere.
No, he's in the G League or whatever. So a couple ideas that they could do. One, I don't love this idea, but you could have a Bowman U update that is a limited checklist and a shortened thing, but you get the guys in later if that's what it takes. Or depending on how the season's playing out, if there are notable athletes that you couldn't get locked up in time or you missed, NBA draft happens in late June, for example. You come out at the NBA draft, they already do draft day photo cards and stuff like that. You do that, and then like they did with the Olympic cards, you randomly insert packs into orders for people that are going to have some kind of a parallel. So they're super rare, but you catch up on at least the lottery draft pick players or something. so that you can get them out there. And it would be a little odd not to have them pack pulled in the original product, but at least it helps you build that brand stability and get those cards out there.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Good idea. All right, let's get someone on the line. Get someone. We're going to end this show, so you can go call people, Teapot.
Hey.
Go down your Rolodex, make this happen.
Yeah.
If it results in me having
I'm sure Mike watches.
some Gator cards, I'll be pretty happy about that. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Make sure to go download that Arena Club app and code SCI20 for 20% off those slab packs, and enjoy yourself. We'll see you back soon with our next episode. Take care, everybody.